basically, my conclusion of this study was this, that sure, I wasn't a mature minister who fully knew what to do or what I was doing. At the same time, I began to believe that what I had been taught about ministry, specifically in terms of, what ministry is supposed to do, what ministry is supposed to look like, was a lot of striving and was a lot of attempts, human attempts to manufacture God's work. And I didn't want to do that anymore. And what I felt called to was a season of dedication to prayer. So I found myself in internship, and I spent 6 months in the US learning about and experiencing and dedicating myself to prayer. And what came as a big, big shock to my system was, instead of God redefining ministry for me first, instead of doing that, what God said is, let's talk about the fact that you're carrying trauma, and not just from ministry. Let's talk about some of the experiences you had that you don't think about, talk about, name, but come back in your dreams. And let's work through how you're angry with me, because I haven't shown up in your personal life or in your ministry the way you've expected me to. And I asked God a lot of questions, some of them with attitude. It's like, God, what do you want from me anyway? And who are you? I know it's a theology, but who are you to me? And who am I to you? And what do you expect? And, how can I trust you? A lot of people are afraid of those questions. I'm so glad I asked them. Wow. I'm so glad I asked them, because there was just so much healing and so much redefining that happened. And I'm not talking about people praying with me. I wasn't seeing an inner healing practitioner. I was in an internship that actually, they give you some tips on prayer, and then they left you alone with God for hours. I would not still be in ministry today. I don't know if God and I would even still be okay today if I hadn't taken that time. And that readjusting was so redefining. Still in my ministry today, I will pull stuff that God revealed to me during that season. And there were some powerful encounters with him. But you know what? The crazy thing is, one of the things that I learned, though, even with those powerful encounters, it's not about how dramatic or not dramatic an interaction with God is. It's about what happens in your heart. It's about the transformation that takes place. And I can truly say, I went into that internship one way, and I came out another. The healing wasn't done, not even remotely, it was just an installment in a journey, but it was an important installment. And then I went back to Hong Kong. And it was interesting. I had a chance to stay at that place. But I feel like if I had stayed, it would have been if God had let the apostles, let Peter, James, and John build tents on the Mount of Transfiguration. When the glory had left. And I'm not saying that the glory wasn't in this place, but what I'm saying is, for me, I was meant to get what I got there, and then I was meant to move on. And I did. I returned to Hong Kong, where there was a huge testing of the healing that I had received, and some continuation of it in various forms. In another video, I'll talk about what my family was doing in the time, because they went through quite a shift while I was gone as well. But really, that whole 6 months in 2004, there was an extension of it again. My family as a whole family took a 1-month leader school in 2005, where we were introduced to the Father Heart message. We were introduced to another model of inner healing and deliverance that neither my parents or my younger sister or myself had been trained in before. We were given the best prophetic training I've ever heard in my life, that really talked about how personal bias can impact your prophetic accuracy, and what areas need particular discernment for yourself, what areas shouldn't be public prophecy. It was good, solid, meaty stuff that coincided with another installment of healing for me, of different issues. Some I didn't even know were there, some that I suspected but I hadn't had confirmed. It was powerful. And then I went on to take some other courses, extending into 2006, 2007, where I was invited to become a leader, and and I had the humbling experience of telling people that I had known since childhood, since our first time in Hong Kong, that I wasn't ready to be a leader because I needed to be a ministry recipient first. But it was 2004 through 2007 was just this intensive healing phase for me. And there was absolutely a lot of ministry, which I'll be telling you about later. It was only that 6 months that I got a break, that made the rest of it possible, but also made it possible for me to receive healing while continuing on in ministry, which was so huge. So I'm going to leave that there and move on to talk about what my parents were doing. Starting in 2004, after I came back, because that was when our paths reconverged, in that for the first time since 1997, we weren't just living together and supporting each other, we were ministering together again. So yeah, that deserves its own space.